Imagine a civilization so advanced that its cities were cleaner than many modern towns, its streets planned with mathematical precision, and its people living with an order and discipline rarely seen in the ancient world. This civilization rose quietly, flourished for centuries, and then just as quietly began to fade away. No dramatic battle, no single moment of destruction, just empty streets, abandoned homes, and a silence that still puzzles historians today. This was the Indus Valley Civilization, one of the greatest yet most mysterious societies in human history. More than 5,000 years ago, along the fertile plains of the Indus River and its tributaries, a remarkable civilization emerged, stretching across what is today Pakistan, northwest India, and parts of Afghanistan. It covered a larger area than both ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. At its AD, this civilization was home to millions of people, living in carefully planned cities such as Harappa, Mohenjo-Daro, Dolavira, and look. What set these cities apart was not their size alone, but their extraordinary level of organization. Streets ran in straight lines, intersecting at right angles. Homes were built with standardized baked bricks, showing a strong system of measurement and quality control. Almost every house had access to clean water, private bathing areas, and an underground drainage system that carried waste away efficiently. Even today, archaeologists marvel at how advanced these systems were for their time. Public infrastructure reflected a society that valued order and cleanliness. Large granaries suggest organized food storage and distribution. The famous Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro points to ritual practices, possibly linked to purification or community gatherings. Yet, despite all this sophistication, there is something strikingly absent: grand palaces, massive temples, or monuments glorifying kings. There is little evidence of powerful rulers or standing armies. Instead, the Indus Valley Civilization appears to have been governed by shared norms, civic planning, and collective responsibility. Trade was the lifeblood of this society. Seals, beads, pottery, and weights discovered at archaeological sites reveal a complex economy. Goods from the Indus Valley have been found as far away as Mesopotamia, indicating long-distance trade by land and sea. Harappan merchants exported cotton textiles, precious stones like carnelian, and finely crafted goods. In return, they received metals, luxury items, and raw materials not found locally. This was a connected world, thriving on exchange and cooperation. The people of the Indus Valley were skilled artisans. They made intricate jewelry, detailed seals carved with animals and symbols, and pottery that was both functional and beautiful. They cultivated wheat, barley, peas, and cotton, and domesticated animals such as cattle, sheep, and goats. Their agricultural success depended heavily on the natural rhythms of the rivers and the seasonal monsoon rains. And then, slowly, those rhythms began to change. Around 2000 BCE, subtle environmental shifts started to affect the region. Scientific studies of sediments, lake core, and ancient climate patterns suggest that the monsoon system weakened over time. Rainfall became less predictable. Long periods of drought replaced once reliable seasonal rains. Rivers that had sustained life for generations began to shrink, change course, or dry up entirely. One of the most significant was the Gagahakra River system, believed by many scholars to have been a major water source for numerous Indus settlements. As tectonic activity altered the landscape, this river gradually lost its glacial and monsoon-fed supply. Towns and cities that depended on it found themselves facing water scarcity. Agriculture suffered first. Crop yields declined. Food surpluses shrank. As pressure on resources increased, maintaining large urban populations became more difficult. The highly organized systems that once supported city life began to strain. Drainage systems fell into disrepair. Building standards declined. New construction used poorer quality materials, suggesting economic stress. At the same time, long-distance trade networks began to weaken. Civilizations in Mesopotamia were experiencing their own upheavals: political instability, environmental stress, and economic changes. As trade connections broke down, the Indus economy lost an important source of wealth and stability. Artifacts from the later period show a reduction in craftsmanship quality and variety, another sign of decline. Yet what is most remarkable is how the Indus Valley Civilization ended. There is no widespread evidence of violent invasion or mass destruction. Earlier theories once blamed invading forces, but modern archaeology has largely dismissed this idea. Instead of burned cities and mass graves, researchers found something far quieter: gradual abandonment. By around 1900 BCE, many major cities were losing population. People did not disappear overnight. They immobed. Families left the large urban centers and migrated eastward toward the Ganges Plains, southward into central India, and north toward the Himalayan foothills. Instead of rebuilding grand cities, they settled in smaller villages closer to reliable water sources. This process is known as the complex urban lifestyle that defined the Harappan world gave way to simpler, rural communities. Writing disappeared. Standardized weights and measures fell out of use. Large-scale architecture ceased, but life itself did not end. It transformed. Environmental stress was not the only factor. With no strong evidence of centralized political power, the civilization may have struggled to coordinate large-scale responses to crisis. A society built on shared systems works well in stability, but can falter when rapid adaptation is required. Fragmentation replaced unity. Health challenges may also have played a role. As water sources dwindled and sanitation systems failed, disease could spread more. As combined with malnutrition from failing crops, these pressures would have made city life increasingly difficult to sustain. And yet, the Indus Valley Civilization did not vanish without a trace. Its people carried their knowledge, traditions, and genes into new regions. Elements of Harappan culture, agricultural practices, craft techniques, and social customs likely influenced later cultures of South Asia. Genetic studies suggest continuity rather than extinction. What remains most mysterious is their voice. The Indus script, found on seals and tablets, remains without written records. We can read. We are left to interpret their lives through bricks, bones, and broken pottery. We can see what they built, but not what they believed, feared, or hoped for. The story of the Indus Valley Civilization is not one of sudden collapse, but of slow transformation. It is a reminder that even the most advanced societies are deeply connected to the natural world. When climate shifts, rivers move, and resources decline, human systems must adapt or change shape entirely. Their cities return to dust, their streets swallowed by time, but their legacy endures, quietly woven into the fabric of history. In studying their rise and decline, we are not just uncovering an ancient mystery, we are holding up a mirror to our own civilization and asking how resilient we truly are.